department. So what I suggest, if we're not sure, is get out your smartphones. Those of you who are in the group, Alexis, maybe you can donate yours and record so we have a backup. The more backups, the merrier.
Or
But
that way there's gonna be like, you're out.
let's hope for the best. I'm not gonna admit or take on
Yeah.
expertise that I don't possess.
Or not data, you're over.
Yeah, there are all sorts of different settings.
Yeah, I pressed start, but I don't know like, if it's
Okay.
actually doing anything.
All right. Well, hopefully, can you stop it and wind it back and take a look?
I have no idea how to do that, honestly.
Oh, okay. So we're really all right. You're gonna be the backup. Oh, I see. You're also gonna do the audio, the video. Great.
I guess.
It's a minute into a record,
It's perfect.
but I don't want to like.
No. Yeah, I don't. We'll do our best. We're also recording here. And David, do you have a smartphone also?
Yeah.
Let's just back up the backup, and then you'll all have access.
Just do audio.
Okay, make a name tag if you haven't already. Thank you, Pierce. We now know who you are. And Alexis and David will take over.
I don't know.
Hello, good morning. Welcome to our focus group. My name is Alexis, and on behalf of the Chicago Sabotage Research Agency, I will be asking a few questions about what you do in your leisure time, if streaming video is a part of that, and what you believe to be the best medium for streaming video. My partner David will be recording and taking notes and engaging with the discussion. We also have a video camera for documentation and analytical purposes. This would not in any way, shape, or form be presented to another party. It would not be on the internet. We've also provided you with a snack and a beverage. If at any time you need to take a snack, help yourself. If there's no questions, I'll begin. So the first question is, what do you guys like to do within your spare time? Anyone can start that off. Do you stream video? Do you go out to eat?
I love to watch Instagram videos, and I like to cook, and I like to sleep.
See somebody else nodding their head.
I like working. I like watching Netflix.
Really nice. You said you like to work out?
I work out now and then like watch. Well, I like watch Hulu or Netflix.
What's your preferred Hulu or Netflix? If you had to choose, where do you go first?
Lately, I've been going to Hulu more. But if I want to watch something that like I know is on Netflix, like if I want to rewatch something, I go to Netflix.
What is your primary streaming video platform that you guys like to use?
Netflix.
Netflix.
It was Netflix, but
Yeah.
like with Hannah, now it's Hulu.
I would say Hulu now.
I'm using more Hulu.
Where do you watch Netflix or Hulu when you watch it?
TV.
Like a smart TV.
Okay.
Laptop and sometimes iPad.
My TV, my laptop. Sometimes when I'm at the gym, if I'm running, I'll put on my phone and watch TV while I run.
Yeah, I do laptop and phone.
Which one do you guys prefer, TV or laptop or phone?
TV.
Do you ever watch cable programming?
No.
Sometimes.
A little bit.
What stops you from watching cable?
Time.
Lack of access.
Yeah, I don't have cable at my apartment. I only watch it when I go home.
And the commercials, kind of color.
I watch Hulu because I can't watch cable TV. Like if The Bachelor's on, I forgot to watch it, then I just go on Hulu and watch it.
Yeah, Hulu's really good about having like the up-to-date shows on cable.
Within Netflix, or if you do watch cable, what programs do you typically go for? Do you go for more drama, comedy, reality TV?
Drama and comedy primarily.
Documentaries and crime shows.
It depends on what I'm in the mood for. So everything, or if someone recommends a show or a movie, I'll go watch it.
Do you pay for your own Netflix accounts? Those of you that Who primarily pays for your Netflix then? If you're not paying for it?
My mom.
There's a family plan, so you just gotta pay for it and then you can put it on this money. I think one of them's like 3 screens and the other one's 6 screens you can pay for.
Could you raise your hand if you pay for your Netflix account? Why do you pay for your Netflix account?
Because I doubt that my mom will want to pay for it, so I thought I would just take that expense.
Oh, your mom pays for Amazon.
But that's her account though. She doesn't watch Netflix, that's just something that I watch.
For those of you that said you don't pay for Netflix, do you pay for Hulu?
Yeah,
No.
only because Hulu comes with your Spotify, your student Spotify.
So it's a package deal that you
Yeah, it's $5 a month for both of them. It's a good deal. If you pay for Spotify, you automatically get Hulu. So if you pay for Spotify, download Hulu.
If you get like the student, like you have to put in like your student
Yeah.
amount.
So when you guys typically look for shows, whether it be on Netflix or Hulu, or primarily Netflix, what do you look for in a new show? Is Netflix, when you go on Netflix, is there a new show category, or do you have to go find new shows? Is new show to you meaning it just came out, or is it, a process where it's something that's been on 10 years and you just now found it? So what do you look for when you go on Netflix to find a new show?
Both.
I would say both. Like it depends if someone like recommends something to watch. Like it could be from like a couple of years ago, but then they have like the new category where they like suggest things for you to watch.
Do you watch Netflix's recommendations for you?
Yeah, sometimes. Especially like, if my profile's only me, so the recommendations are like pretty accurate. Like let's say I was at like my friend's house, like Netflix is totally set up different. Like there might be a movie shown on mine, and then I have to like search for it on like my friend's house. So that gets kind of like,
Is that due to you guys having different interests?
yeah, it's just so interesting how like you can totally, like how Netflix is catered so differently to like person to person.
Have you guys explored Netflix's original content? Yep.
Yeah, they have some good original content.
Isn't Stranger Things theirs?
Yeah, same with Orange is the New Black, that's a good one.
What Netflix original content do you guys enjoy the most?
Big fan of BoJack Horseman.
Okay.
That's a Netflix original.
Is it?
Let's see.
I like Stranger Things.
Yeah.
I don't really know what else is.
Stranger Things was like the best one. I watched like a couple other ones and they're just like.
What about
Black Mirror's one too. I've seen that.
Oh yeah.
what about like original movies from Netflix?
Oh, 13 Reasons Why is Netflix
Oh, that's
too.
good.
I didn't even know they made movies.
Wasn't
Yeah,
House of
I
Cards
thought
TV
it
show?
was.
House of Cards?
Yeah, that's a Netflix original. They have a lot of good ones.
Yeah, I mean, they make some pretty good originals.
The only thing, there a lot of their new ones that they come out with, they're only like 1 season long.
They keep canceling them.
Yeah.
There's like 5 that they canceled.
I know. Like I'll watch it and like I'll finish it in like a couple days and then.
Because they're mostly trials, so some people are interested, you know.
Yeah, but
feel like sometimes I'll wait to watch a show until it's had a couple seasons.
Yeah.
Yeah, just,
So there's
yeah.
a certainty that you know you can finish the story.
So when searching on Netflix, do you guys always find something to watch?
I feel
Sometimes,
like it kind of gets old.
yeah, I think they need more, like, they don't have a lot of good movies.
Yeah, it's definitely okay with the TV watching.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They keep taking off good shows.
So would you
So
rather
true.
prefer both, having good shows and TV, or are you more specific to one?
I think
Yeah.
some,
Do you go to Netflix to look for shows, or do you go for shows and movies?
Shows and
I'd say more shows, but
Yeah.
I mean, you know, they're working with the budget, right? So I'd rather have them be really good shows than, you know, cut down their show content to try to be better movies. You can watch movies somewhere else.
So what should Netflix do to change for, media purposes for the better?
I think it'd be cool if they had like like a friend recommendation thing. Send a friend over.
Oh, yeah, be like, Hannah recommended
Like a
this
likes.
for you.
Thing.
Yeah.
We need to stop taking down movies. Like, they took down Mean Girls so many times.
Yeah, and they put like a lot of like genre thrillers on there. Like, yeah, whoever's in charge of the movie department like, doesn't quite have it right.
Do you believe those that pay for Netflix, or if you know how much Netflix costs, is it fair, the amount they're paying, or the amount that you're paying?
How much is it now?
I think it's
I
$10.99.
think they just raised the price.
Yeah, they just raised it.
oh yeah,
I think it's more than $10.99.
well, now I know don't they have like a higher quality?
Oh, I think
Yeah,
$5.
it depends on many screens.
Yeah.
I think if you have more screens, maybe.
Yeah.
It's $11.99 and then it can go up to $14.99.
For how many screens?
The 14 ones.
I think it's actually based on like streaming. It says 4K streaming up to 4 devices at once. So yeah, 4 devices.
Only 4.
I think.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, I would think that.
I guess my family does pay for that.
Would you prefer to stay in and watch a movie on Netflix, or go actually to a movie theater?
Well, it depends, do you want to see a new movie or old movie?
Which, I mean, it can be an old movie or a new movie. It just, a movie.
I mean, if it's a new movie that's on Netflix, that's really I'm gonna stay home and watch it.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna go to like a theater.
Okay, so for a new movie, would you just go to a theater, or?
Like wait for it to be on Netflix.
Yeah.
And go to the theater.
Depending on how much money I got.
Do you guys like that Netflix doesn't have ads, but comes out with seasons one at a time? Or do you prefer a streaming service that has ads, but you can watch an episode almost immediately after it airs?
So Netflix and Hulu.
I almost prefer to have the ads.
Isn't Netflix gonna be
It's
getting
like-
ads? I heard that's a thing.
Because like Hulu comes out with like the episode like 24 hours after it airs, I think.
Yeah.
So like,
Yeah.
I don't prefer that.
Do you think shows and movies on Netflix are good quality?
Do you mean like, artistically or just like the video quality?
Compared to like, you know how Prime's, you guys all said Prime is trash.
Compared to
Their
Prime,
original
yeah,
content.
it's good. I mean,
I'd
they
say-
still have their,
They probably have like Prime, Hulu, and Netflix have the best video content.
How do you like Netflix website or app compared to Hulu or Amazon?
User friendly.
I think it kind of depends, because the app kind of changes. Like, I watch it on my Roku on my TV. Like, the Roku is kind of like an Amazon Fire Stick. And, like, sometimes it, like, freezes and, like, just gets jittery. But if I pull it up on my laptop, like, it's so user-friendly. So I just think, like, it depends on the device you're using. And, like, at home, it's on, we use Netflix, like, on a Wii. I know we still have a Wii, but that doesn't work very well.
What's one area that a different streaming service covers that you'd like to see Netflix participate in?
think if Netflix did like the whole 24 hours thing, like Hulu does, that would be cool. Like I'd definitely just be with Netflix and not watch Hulu.
It's 24 hours, sorry.
Like, you know how
Oh, like
Hulu
watching
comes
it?
out? Yeah, so you know how like a show will come on, like,
Oh, okay, okay.
yeah. on
But that's
ABC
not what
or
Netflix
24.
does. Netflix doesn't put shows on until their season's complete.
Yeah. But I mean, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, okay.
So how often do you guys binge watch?
Too much.
Like in a given week, what is your week looking like in terms of binge watching? And where do you binge watch?
I don't know, for example, when I first started The Office, I finished it in maybe 2.5 weeks. So if you put that in perspective, it's not good.
And where did you see that?
On my couch.
Oh, on Netflix?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Is it similar to that?
I think it depends on the show too.
Yeah.
Because like Stranger Things, I watch in like one night. Like just like
Yeah,
stay
me
up. So I don't know, but like other ones, like right now I'm rewatching One Tree Hill, and I don't know, it's kind of taking me like 3 weeks already. And I'm on like season 8. There's 9 of them. So.
I watch like maybe like 2 episodes of a night, like before I go to bed. That's like the average amount.
Is it easy to find shows to binge watch? Like, is that what you look for when you go on Netflix?
Yeah.
Do you plan your binge watching for it? It's like spontaneous?
Yeah.
Happens?
Yeah.
I think sometimes it happens, like unexpectedly, but most of the time, I know I go looking for something to like binge watch.
Yeah, like I got 4 hours to do nothing. What's gonna keep me entertained?
But then like the problem is you finish a show too quick and then you're like, now what?
Yeah.
It's hard to find different shows.
Yeah, it's really hard to get into new shows, like when you finish one you really liked.
So a lot of you guys are comparing like binge watching, and you brought up the 24-hour thing, and so binge watching kind of goes hand in hand with releasing a season all at once compared to 24, like once an episode airs.
Yeah.
So would you guys still rather have an episode air right after, but kind of take away the whole binge watch factor because you'll watch it every week, or would you still want the an episode to air right after?
I think I'd probably like to binge watch it.
So you might prefer the whole season?
Yeah, because I get frustrated too, like, when I finish, like on Hulu, if I'm watching like a new show, I'm like, okay, so can you give me the next episode now? But now I have to wait until next week.
This is going back to just a suggestion about other features like that, but I was just
Yeah.
thinking it would be really cool if there was like an offline mode.
Uh-huh.
We could like save a show or episode to a show and then watch it on a flight.
You can do that now.
That's-
Yeah.
that's
Yeah, you
the
can
question
download
we
them
got.
and it downloads for like 48 hours.
Yeah, so, hold on, I got one
Thank
question.
you so much.
That was one of the questions.
Oh wait, but doesn't just Netflix do that now, I think?
I think it's only Netflix. They have an offline mode.
Yeah, so basically, the question was, are you familiar with Netflix downloading feature? It like allows you to watch movies on a plane or like without data or Wi-Fi.
I've heard of it, but I haven't tried it.
It's only like available for certain shows and like certain devices, but
The options aren't usually that great.
yeah. Does anybody use it? What do you guys use it for?
I used it to watch The Office, because they only have like she said, the selections are not really long.
Where do you use it though?
On my phone.
When you're like going to
When I'm
class?
like, yeah,
Yeah.
either going to class or I'm somewhere where there's no Wi-Fi and I'm like,
I was on a flight to Vegas and I downloaded like Criminal Minds. So that was like the only thing that interested me. But then by the time like I was coming back, I forgot that the show's expired. So then like on the way back, I didn't have anything to watch.
I didn't know they expired.
Did
Yeah.
it take long to download?
Yeah, they do.
Not really. If you have enough storage, it takes like, I think it's like 5 minutes.
Oh, well, maybe I just didn't have enough storage. But they like I was gone for like 5 days and they only stay on your device for like 2 or 3.
So if Netflix were to go out of business, how would you feel?
That would be disrespectful.
Why is that?
I feel like it's hard to me.
If you could describe Netflix as a person.
Be a couch potato.
Yeah, when are you most likely to binge? Like after class, like weekdays, weekends, Sundays,
Weekends.
like the afternoon, at night before bed?
At night.
You guys would all agree with that?
Yeah, I never watch
Afternoon
Netflix
too.
on the weekends.
Yeah, I'm more of a weekday person.
Yeah. So just like before bed, or like, does anybody watch it after class?
If it's really, really good,
No, when I go home from school, I'll have to put it on. But a
yeah.
lot of times it's on as like background noise since I don't have cable.
Yeah.
The only problem that I don't like with Netflix is the "Are you still there?" I wish it. Oh yeah, I don't like that.
You don't like that?
No,
Okay.
because yes, I'm still there.
Does anybody else have like an opinion on that message that pops up?
Well, I like that because sometimes like I'm obviously binging and then I fall asleep. And then like,
I would say the same thing. It pretty much keeps me only like 3 episodes out of line.
yeah.
It'd be cool if they had like a sleep mode where it's like only play 3 episodes.
Oh, yeah.
And then like, cause I know like my average is 2, and like have it shut off after 2. So then I can go to sleep.
Maybe at night. Yeah.
Like you can just, you know, you can turn on like sleep mode on your phone, like you
Yeah.
can turn sleep mode on Netflix.
Getting
Right,
back
so
to
that should be an option.
That's what I'm
So
saying,
it
yeah.
shouldn't be like mandatory type of, you know?
Getting back to the previous question, how come you guys don't watch Netflix on weekends?
There's better things to do with your time on the weekends.
So you'd rather go out and than watch Netflix on weekends?
I like
Yeah.
refuse to turn it on the weekends because like that's my time to like catch and watch it. Stuff.
If you binge watch a show all day, you feel like so bad about yourself.
Like I've wasted this day.
I know.
I work on the weekends. So that's my excuse.
I agree with Ben though. Like I've done those Saturdays where like I watch it. I'm like I'm gonna watch a quick episode in the morning, and then it's 8 p.m. and I've done nothing.
And you're like, what did I? Like,
Yeah.
Now I'm awake and like there's nothing for me to
Yeah,
do really.
you're like I'm unaccomplished. Like
There's so many like already is on.
yeah.
It seems like there's a negative connotation with binging, but like, what would you guys do if you couldn't binge?
Maybe I would read more.
I always think like I didn't get Netflix until like my senior year of high school, and like I have no idea what I did before binging.
So take a day like today, for example, it's raining. Granted, we do have class, but if we didn't have class, what would you be doing?
That's an example.
Oh, I'd be in bed watching Netflix.
This is Netflix weather.
So when referring to ads, have you seen a lot of Netflix ads on TV? Where do you see Netflix ads when you see an ad for Netflix, if you ever do?
I see ads for their original content sometimes, and they'll advertise the shows that are coming out like seasons or whatever.
Where do you see that?
Oh, Instagram and Facebook.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of the times they'll be like,
Yeah.
Orange is the New Black is coming this way, or they'll use their original content to like advertise.
So social media is,
Yeah.
I also see this like, co-ad with T-Mobile on TV. I don't know what it is,
Oh, yeah, I've
how
seen
that
that.
is, but I think it's just that unlimited data to get Netflix for free or something like that. I don't know.
do you ever see Netflix on outside of TV or social media? Like, do you ever see billboards for Netflix?
I think I have, I just not frequently.
Yeah, I can't, like not anything that's memorable, but I'm sure I have.
Right, so the more memorable stuff is stuff you can
Yeah.
watch. Well, we have an ad.
Are you insane? She's angry!
Okay. So, I have an ad to show you. And,
Turn it down a little bit.
yeah.
Are you insane? No, she's angry.
Frank, this whole talking to the camera thing, I find it unsettling. I'm home, I'm comfortable. I don't want to be confronted, and you could lighten up a little also. Hey! We gotta break into the computer room? Go and erase my cookies.
Hey! Doesn't it bother you that you're in here, OJ's walking the streets?
Come on, there's a delicate matter which I felt I needed to discuss with you.
Concerning what?
I'll do it. It's your breath. I don't know if it's the tea, could be the cigars, could be, I know you eat a lot of meat. It's just that maybe it's a combination of the three, but it's bad breath. Just why no one is ever closer to you than this. Well, lady?
But you hate me to pick up the phone and say hello, and the person calling you goes, hello? I just hang up right there. That call's over. You're not ready. You like comedy?
This is a very specific thing, and I know there's a way to do it, so let me...
Netflix is a joke.
Any comments about that ad? Did anyone recognize any shows?
Oh,
no.
That was a good ad.
What do you think the message of the ad was?
The stand-up shows.
Yeah,
I actually forgot about that. Like, I'd rather watch any of the stand-ups on Netflix than movies.
Netflix was like, the reason I started watching stand-up, like,
Yeah.
I sometimes like see it on like Comedy Central or something, like when I was growing up, but, who's the really short black guy? He had some good things on this.
Kevin Hart?
Kevin Hart.
Yeah.
There's a really funny one on there.
Oh, so funny.
Yeah.
I just say, yeah, they really brought back stand-up comedy.
And it was a better selection of the movies, so that definitely.
They kind of have like a good market on it, I think. I don't really watch it anywhere else.
They do. They have most of the like comedians under contract and stuff.
So if you've never watched any of those shows before, would this ad compel you to go to Netflix?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd be confused.
Yeah, I don't know if I would. I feel like it's dependent on people recognizing the shows. At least like House of Cards, like I don't know if you can be able to understand that if you didn't have some context.
Yeah, that's
Yes,
true.
so you guys feel like it's retaining customers more than it's getting new ones?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like it's trying to get already customers to watch new content.
Yeah.
Because we're gonna recognize
Because I
some of the
didn't know the
shows.
comedy was on there.
Yeah, we're gonna recognize some of the shows and then ask questions about the other ones.
I kind of think it's like also like, yeah, gearing towards people who already have Netflix, because I threatened to cancel my Netflix account so many times because they keep taking off shows, but like I like their original shows. Like that's the only reason I still have Netflix. And they showed all of the original shows.
Alright. So how many of you guys ever pirate any content? Okay.
Does that mean like illegally download?
Yeah. So when you want to have a movie night or you want to like watch something, do you go to a legal streaming site or a pirating site first?
I go type it in Google or whatever.
Yeah.
So you search the show on Google first. You don't like pick a streaming site to search first. You'll search it on the whole web.
Illegal streaming sites to go to.
If it's at the Google, I'm gonna go straight to Google. Because I know probably won't find it.
Yeah.
Streamwar.com is a good one.
Yeah, I would say like when I was really, like when the newest Hunger Games came out, like the last one, I like didn't want to go to the movie theaters, but like I wanted to see if I could find it somewhere for free. So that's how you do it. It's not like I want to watch like, oh, everybody knows the movie Click, like the old Adam Sandler movie. Like I know that's gonna be somewhere out there for free.
Right.
It's mostly like new stuff.
Okay.
I always get viruses when I go to legal sites. I just try not to.
Well, I have Xfinity at home, and I know they have like an option where you can watch movies that are already in theaters that are still in theaters, and you have to pay for it. But Netflix had that option. They're pretty giving you if you
So would you guys prefer pirated content over Netflix?
I mean, no.
I feel like they kind of need to go together, you know?
Yeah.
Like it,
Netflix could prevent that if they put that stuff on there.
So you don't think one competes with the other? They're just coincide to it?
You mean like coexist?
Yeah, coexist.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, back to like reiterating the going to the movies. So if you guys want to have a movie night, not just for like a new movie, just in general, like you're like, I want to watch a movie tonight. Do you think the movies still trump Netflix, like going to the theater? Because obviously new movies aren't going to be on Netflix. But.
I think if you tell somebody like, let's have a movie night, you're thinking like somebody's like living room and pizza.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like whatever we can find is what we're gonna watch.
I have a question about like shows versus like original content. A lot of shows are like leaving Netflix and streaming on their own websites. Like Always Sunny is streaming on FX now and left Netflix. Would you prefer Netflix to go after shows on different networks or just continue releasing their own original content and let these ones like walk away?
I think they're gonna lose a lot of people if they just only show their own content because people like Netflix because originally you could find shows from every network on there.
I feel like people definitely want one spot where they can go watch all their TV.
Yeah, because I know what you're saying. Like now, like you, instead of waiting for Shameless to come on Netflix, like you can go directly to Showtime and like pay for Showtime and get it.
I have one more question. So do you ever watch like Netflix with others, like roommates and friends and stuff? Like often?
No, not often.
Yeah. How like what do you watch the same type of shows if you have people around?
Yeah.
Yeah. Really?
I feel like it depends on the person.
I feel like the larger the group gets, like less seriously you can watch a show. So if it's a show you really like and that you want to pay attention to, it's harder to. Sometimes it's like, I want to watch this TV show.
Mostly like when people are free for like The Office on and stuff
Yeah,
like
like
that.
sitcoms and whatnot.
Yeah.
I think that's all I have.
I'm just looking at some responses. So you guys said the price is too high. Comparing it to cable, do you still feel like the price is too high?
I don't.
I don't know cable costs.
It's expensive.
A lot.
I think it's a reasonable price, but if they're gonna raise the prices, they should keep the quality of the shows up, you know?
Yeah. So, let's say like one has to go for the other to happen. Would you guys rather have a bigger selection of movies that are more relevant and TV shows, but less original content, or keep the big, like the large base of original content, but stay with not having, as you guys say, like the best movies?
The first one.
Yeah, I think they're realizing that only some of the original content is really making it. Because like Mike said earlier, like sometimes it's only one season and then it's canceled. I like the original.
So you'd rather cut back on the original content budget?
Yeah.
I like watching old shows that used to be on TV that are anymore. That's why I use Netflix.
I think everyone
The Office,
Friends at some
Stars.
point in the last 3 years.
I'll still rewatch Friends on Netflix.
Yeah, like when they had Desperate Housewives on there, I rewatched that whole show.
Yeah, I feel like the old shows are like the backbone, and then like the original content's just like a bonus.
What's really annoying with like the old shows though, like I'm a big Law and Order fan. They only have like 4 or 5 seasons on there. I get like there's 20 seasons, but like what makes them choose like 11 through 12 out of all of them?
Right.
They're slowly taking those off too.
I know.
Like they.
But don't worry, they're all on Hulu.
Yeah, they took off One Tree Hill, and then I was like, buy Netflix. So.
But whatever they take off, it seems like Hulu seems to pick up.
Yeah.
Like they took off Desperate Housewives, but now Hulu has the whole show.
Hulu was really cool, but always free when it first came out.
Yeah.
It was great.
No, they first made it like 5 years ago. It was all free.
Do you guys use like network streaming sites or like HBO or like even like Comedy Central app, like Adult Swim app, FX?
I'll use it sometimes because like, you can usually get access to those with your cable subscription.
Exactly.
So I'll use like my parents.
So they're always free too if you have cable. I know I use those a lot.
I use the Showtime one because my parents pay for the cable on Showtime.
So you guys don't really do that?
I use HBO.
How long do you guys see yourselves having Netflix?
They keep taking off shows now.
As long as the office is on there, keep it.
As long as my dad keeps paying for it.
Yes. So for the people that have other people paying for it, once it, let's say when they do like cutting you off from Netflix, will Netflix's content and how you've been with them for so long keep you? Or will you just drop Netflix altogether?
I'll probably find someone else's.
Yeah.
to take over.
I don't know what I would do. I think it just depends like how much free time I have, like I really need it. Like now if I got rid of Netflix, I'd probably be better off. Cause I'd like actually be productive.
Do you guys ever watch shows live? Like ever?
If I can, I will. If I have access to cable and the show, I know the show's on. But usually it's hard to do that, right?
Yeah.
If I see something on for like 5 minutes, I'll record it and
Yeah.
then go do something.
Same. I want to say sporting events are like the only thing I really watch live now.
Have you ever gotten into like a new show, like a new premiere of a show through cable? Like sitcoms or?
Like the last 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, not recently, maybe when I was younger.
I don't think it shows anymore.
Yeah.
Up
Even
next
if
to
they
you,
do, the commercials really suck. They'll be like 5 minutes long and you're like, I don't even hear anymore. Yeah.
Right, and I feel like commercials can be so much faster now.
That's why I just record everything, because I don't have time to wait.
And then you can just skip them.
Yeah.
Like if you record a show and you start like 20 minutes in, you can fast forward.
Like I feel like out of like a 30-minute show, like 10 minutes of it is literally commercials.
Mm-hmm.
So, you guys were talking about how Hulu was free at first. I know you said that and it was cool. Do you think Hulu is fair or is more fair than Netflix price-wise?
I think it's interesting how they give you the two options where there's like the one with ads for less price or you can go ad-free for like $100 more.
Okay. So you think Netflix should do maybe 2 different
Yes.
prices? Yeah.
Isn't Netflix transitioning to ads? I think that was a thing.
Netflix should definitely lower their base cost if they're gonna put ads on.
Yeah.
I think that's like a debate that's up in the air right now, is that they are contemplating whether or not they should put ads in or not, but they're afraid they're gonna lose customers, but at the same time, it can make them so much more money if they just put ads in.
When you cancel your Google account, they send you an email and offer you a free month.
How much is Hulu like? Regular?
It's like $7 for the ad one. Well, I guess it's free if you get Spotify.
Well, yeah, like how much is it without the Spotify thing?
I think it's like $7.
Like for ads?
I think they have student
It's
accounts too.
$7.99.
You know, I don't think Netflix does like student discounts or
Hulu
anything like
does,
that,
but
but Hulu
Netflix
does.
With Hulu, can't you like do, I don't have it, can you do like different packages inside Hulu, like where you can subscribe to like other things in it?
Yeah, you can subscribe to like certain channels, just like how you can with cable.
I think Hulu's doing live TV now too. Like they're-
That's what Hannah was saying, like The Bachelor, it
Yeah.
shows on Monday, and if she missed it on Monday, on Tuesday she can watch it
They're
on
not like the 24 hours, they're
No,
do like
you can do
live,
it live.
like channels and stuff on Hulu.
You have to pay more.
It's like Facebook Live and like YouTube Live.
Like, they're gonna have cable
Like a
channels.
live
Like
show.
a basketball game?
Yeah, so like Facebook Live and.
Oh yeah, they do have
They
like
get
TV
to
now.
like, you know, go.
No, they've been airing like college basketball games on there. YouTube's has been doing like the X Games and even some of the Winter Olympics, I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
I watch, what's that show? It's like reality TV, but like the Ball Brothers.
Oh,
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, like they have like their like mini.
On YouTube?
No, on
Facebook.
Facebook. Like that's the only reason why I'll go, like why I'll like watch their little series or whatever they're trying to do there.
How long are like episodes of that?
They're like 11 minutes. But I mean, if you, like how TV is now with like all the ads and stuff, like the commercials, it's like the same. Because some will be like 11 to 15, so it's like watching a 30-minute show without commercials, so.
Since there's multiple profiles within some people's Netflix accounts, do you find privacy to be an issue, or do you not care? Do you prefer to be able to go in and see what your mom could be watching, or your brother?
I set up like different accounts on Netflix.
I don't ever go to anybody else's profile but my own.
I had a problem once where like one of my exes changed the password so I couldn't get in anymore.
Oh my God, that's just tires.
Exactly. But he was dumb because I got the email saying someone changed your password. So I changed it right back. But after that, I just edited the Netflix account.
Changed your password?
Yeah, he changed mine. It's in the email.
Good. I feel like we got enough.
David, I've got a couple if you have a moment for me, but go ahead.
I think I'm good.
You're good?
Yeah.
First of all, a lot of very interesting things came out. One thing that I should point out to you is that you weren't selected for this focus group, similar to the one we did on Tuesday and that we will do after break for AMC. But your knowledge of the category is amazing for people that weren't pre-screened. That's the first thing. So, I mean, that's something in itself that you need to realize as part of your research, that this is an active, Netflix is a reality. There's lots of knowledge, either specifically about the service or in comparison, which is incredibly valuable for Netflix to learn about. One question I have is, have you ever allowed a streaming video service to disappear on you? In other words, to you cancel it, or you had access to it through somebody else's account and you lost that access and you didn't bother to replace it? You've never dropped one? You've only added them? Is that correct?
I've dropped one.
Wait, tell us about it.
So I had like a friend's like parents account, and I used it, and then it logged me out, and I wasn't really friends with the kid anymore.
What was the account?
Just like their subscription
To
Netflix.
And so you were without Netflix for a while?
I just found a different friend that let me use it.
Right, so you didn't let it,
Right.
that's my point. It's become essential to you. Has anyone ever canceled or been locked out of Netflix and let it just happen?
I canceled my Hulu account.
You canceled which?
Hulu.
Hulu. What are you doing instead?
Netflix.
Netflix?
Yeah.
So tell us about that. How did you survive?
I had both of them, but the way my account was set up, I had to pick one, so I picked Netflix.
Over Hulu?
Yeah.
Oh, you were allowed one, and you didn't find another way to worm your way into Hulu?
No,
You lived without Hulu, or you still are without Hulu?
still without one.
Did this conversation change your mind a little bit? Do you think maybe now? Even if it's connected, do you have Spotify?
No, because I don't use Spotify. So there would be no point for me to get Spotify. I have Apple Music.
You have Apple Music?
Yeah.
Okay, so you have loyalty, so there's competing loyalties here, which is interesting for you guys to explore. The other thing is, if I can ask you to do an exercise, Black Panther is relatively new, right? Could you go on the internet, as I believe it was Aster suggested, the first app she uses when she wants to see new stuff that's in theaters is to Google it.
It might be trash right now. I keep using that word.
What's
But
it mean?
the quality, if it is on Google, the quality might be really low. So if someone recorded it right now.
But you just
it's
mean
not-
Googling the verb, it'll take you anywhere, it's not keeping you within Google. Or do you think, or you mean Google itself is the
If you went
delivery?
to search for Black Panther
Yeah.
right now for free, I'm saying the quality of the videos.
Does that stop you? All right, well, let's have that discussion, yeah.
What you need is, someone would literally go on that and read and video recorded it.
So it's secondary, right?
And then just post that on someone's website, and it'd be free.
Right, but you get what you get.
Yeah.
But does that stop you, or
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
would you be willing to pay more for a clean copy of Black Panther?
Yes. You could find a good copy from somebody going in the theater recording. I'm saying right now, it'll just be bad.
The stuff that
The
comes out
quality will be
in the
bad.
first week or two, okay.
Yeah.
In like 3 weeks, like, or how long's the movie been out?
They're 2 weekends.
I could probably find it in like, with good quality pretty quickly.
Yeah.
But that requires, what, 5-10 minutes of your time?
And then I gotta download it, yeah.
And then you download it, and then you run the risk of catch-up bias.
Depending on where you go.
I know, but if you
Depending on what-
download it, it's a lot easier, it's normally, and that's just on my laptop.
Have you ever got one of those emails?
Huh?
Have you ever got one of those, torrent, like, emails from your?
Oh yeah, I got a VPN, it's a virtual private network, so, again.
It sounds like you need some, let me just see if there's a, raise your hand if you feel comfortable that if you wanted to see Black Panther, you'd find a way to see a good copy for free. Raise your hand if you think that's within your capability.
Right now?
Right now. Right now.
I don't know.
Okay, it seems like, Ben, did you raise your hand? I couldn't see. All right, but it seems like mostly guys have that capability. I'm just wondering if that's something to check on your quantitative. Well, in terms of having VPN and all these kinds of things that I'm just saying.
Wait, are you saying that women aren't capable?
All right, I'll back off that one. And I think that you guys raised something very interesting about binge watching, because it's actually something that you want the option to do. However, Netflix and other streamers are interested in getting you back on different occasions. They want the traffic. And the other thing is they don't want you to over binge to the point where you started at 9 in the morning on a Saturday and you're done at 8 at night, and where did your day go? And you're mad at yourself and you're mad at Netflix and it wasn't that good and it was bad judgment. They really want you to take it in smaller doses if that's what you're looking for. I also noticed that, and even the way Kevin asked the question about do you ever watch in groups, implies that watching Netflix is pretty much an individual thing. I don't know if I could make, but that's another thing to explore quantitatively on SurveyMonkey to find out, of the last 10 times, you could ask a question like, of the last 10 times you watched Netflix, how many of those were with others? And you may see that the answer is 9 or 8 or 7, some large number, or all 10, but you're not going to have 0. But find that out to see if really that is the way that it's being consumed in such a way that we need to reposition things. The other thing is Casey said something very interesting about wanting more shows and less movies, and I think others echoed that, if I got that right. Did you notice though on the Netflix ad, I don't think there were any quote-unquote shows. They were all original content, is that right? They went way out of their way to have original content that appealed to everyone. And my generation would love The Crown. There's some things my generation won't watch, but they were all there and they all went out of their way to do it. But when your conversation began talking about what kinds of shows you watch, the content was really germane to you. It was one of your decision points. And they sort of they had all the different genres, but the one they didn't have was anything from what was at one time live TV. And that's really maybe something that they should think about and something maybe we could explore. The theater or Netflix was a very interesting question. I got the sense that if it's a new movie, you're going to go to the theater. If it's an old movie, you'll start with Netflix and its competitors. And somebody chimed in and said, depends on how much money you have. Can I ask, does it also depend on what your social situation is? If somebody's angling to go to see Black Panther in the theater, how does that work into your decision making, if at all?
Can you repeat this?
Yeah, you're among friends, and someone says, let's go to the theater for a certain movie.
I mean, usually when it's suggested to go to the movies, you already have a movie. Well, in my situation, you already have a movie in mind that you want to see. You don't go to the movies and then pick a movie.
Oh, no, I'm saying somebody in the group says, let's see Black Panther. You guys up for it or not?
You got money?
So the first issue is money. Okay, because the money you have in Netflix is sunk, right? I mean, or somebody else's money, but it's not going to be a cost consideration.
Right.
But it also seems, would you go to the theater by yourself if you? Anybody here ever go to a theater by him or herself?
I feel like that's super creepy.
What's that? The theater is meant for friends. The theater is meant for friends. Netflix is meant for you then? Is Netflix a non-friendly, a non-social thing? Now you obviously, I mean, so there's something very interesting going on here. I travel a lot, and when I'm in a strange town, to me, I'll go watch a movie. I watched The Exorcist out of town in the 70s. I watched Hannibal Lecter, or Hannibal, in the 90s, I think, in a little town in Minnesota. I'm on business, I'll go to meals by myself and so on. Yeah, but that's, I know, I'm sorry. Yeah.
I feel like that's an adult thing to do. Like my dad has gone to movies by himself.
Absolutely.
He's like, I'm just gonna go see it.
Right.
It's not sad because some people really enjoy it.
No, my boyfriend does, and I'm like, I'll go with you.
And they're like, no, like I'm okay. I'm always like, damn.
Well, there's that scene in one of the Steve Martin movies where he walks into a restaurant by himself with a big spotlight. Anyhow, I mean, he's just real, and then they make a big fuss about removing the second setting across the table from him, and it's a well played scene that really indicates how uncomfortable we are in social places as individuals. And as people that are on the road, you get used to it. And you hope they say, well, this guy's he's not really friendless, he's just traveling or something. And then also you can sit up at counters and stuff like that at restaurants that eases that individuality. They've sort of thought about that because they don't want you not to come in if you don't want to take up a table for four just for yourself. So there's a social aspect that maybe you guys can delve into more because that's very, very important in the positioning. And that's something that does not come through the IMC stuff that Netflix is doing. The Are You Still There is annoying, which is interesting. In fact, one recommendation was to cut out the automatic starting in 30 seconds, 20 seconds, because people want to sleep. At some point, let it go. But also, I think Casey said something about having Netflix running in the background. Just sort of, tell us about that.
Well, just like when I was growing up, like the TV would be like on my background, like when my mom was like cooking or like cleaning. And like sometimes I just put on a show that I've already seen before and just have it run.
It breaks the silence.
Yeah.
I did that with The Office.
Yeah, that's one of the ones I
I do it too,
just.
but I just thought I was the only one who did it.
No, because I don't have cable.
So I'm trying to move into the social versus individual, moving into the financial, and you guys hit on that, but also focus on the actual behavior that goes on as you're selecting. I think going to Google is a fascinating, it didn't occur to me that you would start looking for a movie on Google. I thought you'd pick your favorite app and move from there.
I mean, if I'm trying to find, if I'm trying to find a movie that I know is not on there, and I'm looking for, you know, like Foot Locker, I would just search Google and see if it pops up.
Hurt Locker?
Foot Locker.
Foot?
Foot.
Yeah, foot.
No,
All right, I'm sorry.
Put down.
I got it. Oh, I got it. All right. I think you guys got a lot to go on, and I think one of your challenges is to look at what they're concerned about regarding the deliverable from Netflix and then look at their IMC basically on when you say they don't have advertisements, technically they do. They're advertising themselves with their lead-ins. If you want to start something, there's always a little 1-minute introduction to something else to remind you that it's out there or that it's expiring. I also thought that was interesting that several of you knew that you had to watch quickly because the show that you're into has a fuse of 2 weeks or 3 weeks left. And that might be something that they can leverage in a certain way or fix as a deliverable, or that it's there for a purpose. It doesn't seem like you guys as consumers are thinking so much about why they do things. It's sort of how it impacts you. I wish they would do X, their price is too high. They moved into this automatic renewal on the binging thing. But they're sort of obviously doing their best to worm their ways into your lives. And my sense is that they've succeeded splendidly. And the question now is to look at why people use other platforms to do things in their spare time. Also, I was surprised that it's a weekday activity for you, not necessarily weekend. I would explore that more. Just in short, this was a demonstration of how a focus group on something that people have something to say about can be extremely important. Any other comments? Then I'll hand out the midterm study guide. And as I announced, I intended to put it on Blackboard. I think it's there if anybody would check. It's under a study guide tab that I built for it in particular. Take a look at this and then please ask me any questions. This is for 2 weeks from today. The 15th is the midterm. I'm going to use this to build the midterm that you're going to be taking. Yep. And bring in your technology if you want to use it. However, there are strict rules about staying on the page. It's going to go through Turnitin and all those kinds of things. So be advised if you think you're going to have any problem doing that.
Are you saying it's open notes?
No, it's closed book. Closed book. But you're getting all the questions in advance.
Okay.
This is a study guide, and in the study guide, you've got 10 possible short or essay length things, of which maybe 4 of them will show up, maybe 8 or 7 of them will show up for you to pick 4 or something like that.
And we can type it in the computer?
And you can type it. You could, so bring it. If anybody doesn't have a computer, I'll be happy to try to find one and bring it in for you. Or there's one, we have one there, I assume it has Word on it, but I want you to type it in Word, not in PDF, not in any format that I can't download. turn it in, and can't make editorial comments in it. So take a look, and I'll answer any questions that you have. All right. I'm not trying to catch you up. I'm trying to give you a fair sense, but sometimes it doesn't translate that I've got something in mind and you'll take it in a different direction. Projection, for example, we had several on the